I work in a memory care facility, and learning about the psychology and science behind dementia has really helped me to become a better caregiver. First, I wanted to discuss some of the changes that happen. Now, when we think of dementia, we think of memory loss, right? Memory loss is one of the very first signs, and short-term goes before long-term. But there are so many other changes that happen, including with each one of our 5 senses. Smell is one of the earliest sensory changes. The caregiver might think, well, why doesn't the smell of their dirty brief bother them? Well, they still may smell it, but it doesn't always register as unpleasant like it used to. Vision can drastically change as well, and even though you might have perfectly healthy eyes, the disease can change how you see things. The further it progresses, the visual field becomes narrower and narrower, making it harder to focus on details in the peripheral. Visual hallucinations, loss of spatial awareness are common, and determining how far away an object is can be challenging. Hearing loss can create communication issues. The decline in smell can lead to things tasting more bland, and a decrease in appetite can happen. Touch can be overstimulating, or they can be desensitized to it. Sometimes, a lot of times, they have the grasp reflex. Sometimes a resident will hold my hand and they won't want to let go because that grasp reflex is coming back. I also wanted to share a couple of tips from dementia experts on dealing with behaviors. Mentally, they cannot step into our reality, so try stepping into theirs. We may know that they're experiencing a delusion, but being dismissive is not going to help because it feels real to them. One time, a resident was yelling at another resident, and she was saying, "I own this place, and you haven't paid rent in 3 months." And instead of telling that resident, well, you don't own this place, or you live in a memory care facility, that could have caused more agitation. Instead, I stepped into her reality and matched her energy to show that I'm taking her concerns seriously. I'm sorry, that is ridiculous. He hasn't paid his rent in 3 months. I will talk to him, and I promise you, I'll look at his lease contract, and I will personally take care of the situation, okay? And then she actually immediately calmed down and said, "You know, I ought to give you a raise." We'll end with one last tip, which is distract and avoid saying don't or no. Let's say a resident was trying to follow me outside the memory care doors. Instead of saying, "No, you can't go out these doors," try distracting and saying something like, "Oh, are you going out? Well, it's really cold outside. Let's grab your jacket before we go out, and then I'll walk you out." Dealing with dementia can be challenging, but if we have some perspective of what they're going through, it can help. And remember that they don't always have control of themselves, but we do. If we have better understanding of what they're going through, it can make all the difference.